Coming off an absolutely game-melting, the worst gameplay I've ever seen of Madden. It was at its worst. Against the Carolina Panthers, there wasn't anything we could do on offense or defense to either score ourselves or keep the Panthers from scoring, as they would go on to win 45-7. Though I do have to say most of the bad, at least defensively, was all in the first half, mostly the first quarter. In the second half, we only gave up 14 points, which was a whole lot better than what we did up to that point. As for the offense, though, they weren't doing much of anything the whole time. We had, I want to say it was 4 interceptions, if not in the first quarter, definitely in the first half by Stroud. And then he got subbed out for Bo Harold, who finished the game, and Harold was the only one who led us on a touchdown drive, though that was in the second quarter, and we didn't do anything the entire rest of that game. Which led us to, at the end, I had brought up, kind of going back to what we did at the end of the first season, and having 2 games per episode. Now, I don't want to get too ahead of myself here, because I want to try to salvage this franchise. And to do that, I've done a couple things. The first being I copied the same exact slider set, though I have tweaked it slightly. We went back to the pure Mat 10 slider set, meaning I've lowered the quarterback accuracy back down to 50. We're going to give that a go. Now, these are the most up-to-date sliders for it. And I also have this in the base game, not just in the franchise, but in the base Madden itself in that setting. So hopefully that will help clear some things up. That's what we're going to hope happens. If it does not happen, we will have to continue trying to tweak these sliders to essentially fix what has been a pretty broken franchise. The offense has struggled tremendously. Defense hasn't been that bad. Defense has been pretty solid. But the main problem really for the offense is quarterback play has been truly bad, and the offensive line has also been really bad. Now, we don't have the highest rated offensive lineman, though we do have a really good one who has struggled tremendously. Over at right tackle, Tyron Smith, an 87 overall, and that's with some morale taking down some ratings. This season, as I've been keeping up with my own stats, because I do not trust Madden stats, Smith alone has given up 3 quarterback hits, 9 hurries, and 4 sacks. He has not given up any immediate stoppage for run plays. I am keeping track of that, and I was keeping track of penalties, but then I missed some games, which threw off all the stats, so I took those out. So Smith has been really bad. He's not giving up the most amount of sacks on the team, but he is tied for second. The player who's actually done really well in terms of sacks would actually be Hobart. In his time playing, did not give up any sacks, and McAllister had only given up 1 sack, though he's been off and on of the injury list. So we'll kind of just have to play and see how well we could get these to work. Right now, I think the quarterback sliders and the blocking sliders are the main ones I'm thinking of moving forward, because we should not have a guy like Tyron Smith giving up so much pressure. I mean, these are tremendous ratings. He's the 3rd best right tackle in the entire game. So we should not be giving up, again, 3 hits, 9 hurries, and 4 sacks. Not even through an entire season. That is really bad. The worst, though, if I had to pick of our offensive linemen, I do think it's Dickinson. He's given up 3 hits, 1 hurry, 6 sacks, and has given up a run stop. Andrews has been injured for most of the year, so I'm not going to count him, although his stats are looking pretty good. But McAllister has given up 2 hits, half of a hurry. It was kind of split. It was a double team, so it's not solely on him, and has given up 1 run stop. Besides that, I mean, he's been pretty good. So he's definitely our best guy right now. In terms of who's given up the most hurries, that is Smith. Behind him, you do have Avila at right guard. So there's definitely a lot of things that we're working around to try to find the best fit. But I definitely feel like it's some slider sets, especially when it comes to the quarterback. After trading for CJ Stroud, we should have seen a much improved passing game. Taking a look at his ratings, he does not have an accuracy with the boosts from the coaches under a 90. He should be throwing dimes nearly every single time, but we clearly have not seen that. Now, could some of that be me and some bad reads? Sure. also partially what some of it could be. I use the classic passing method, I guess, or scheme setting, I don't know what the proper term would be, for Madden. So you hit the button and you could slightly direct it a little bit with the left stick. Now maybe I'm doing that a little bit too much, so I'm gonna try to pull off the left stick a bit more in this one and try to focus on using the left trigger and the left bumper for high and low throws. See if maybe that'll help us out and try to get some accurate passes and get this offense moving in an attempt to salvage this franchise. If you guys have been experiencing these same problems, do definitely let me know. And if you found any ways to fix them, again, let me know. I will share any findings I find and how we could fix these franchises. Now, I have a bunch of other franchises, the state-only challenges, and those have been running perfectly fine, but those are on All Pro. I'm hoping the changes that I made to the base game itself doesn't affect that series, but overall, this strictly seems to be an all Madden problem. They're just breaking the game to make it difficult, so we need to find a way to make it be difficult while also still work. That's the goal as we jump on into our next game. It will just be one game against the Commanders with an 88 defense and 80 offense. Jonathan Allen, their main guy on that defensive line. O-line is going to have to come through for us. They have a 15th ranked passing offense. Their rushing and points per game, not doing too good, but their defense is a near top 10. Except for points allowed per game, which is 13th, giving up 21.1 points per game. But our offense, we are not doing too good in that department. We are not scoring a whole lot of points, 15 per game. So we need to improve that. We need to see some touchdowns, and let's try to do that today with the changes that we've made. We'll be immediately getting a good test with this game underway. The boot is off and Williams set back to return. Has a little bit of lane to the outside. Did not quite get to the outside though as we start at the 23. CJ Stroud coming back out, coming off of a really bad performance. And that was a performance that nearly saw him erase his positive touchdown to interception ratio. So hopefully we could start to build that. Though, as typical, we're going to start with a little bit of some running. Allen just ate that one up. Loss of 4 play 1. Definitely going to have his plate full is Hobart, the backup rookie center, as McAllister is out injured once again. Going to go with a drag route the opposite way. Going to find Nakua, the diving defender, misses, and we scamper out of bounds. It was a late hit for sure. But the ref keeps the flag in his back pocket. Not that we expect the refs to throw flags when they should, as we do have a fresh set of downs here. Gonna go with the RPO, hand it off with a little bit of space to the outside. Akers trying to bounce, but great tackle from the safety. Need to do a little bit job of trying to create some space when there isn't any. Though hard to complain when you get yourself a first down. Past midfield, we're at the 48. Hard count, no one jumps. As we change up the formation a little bit here, it's a tighter look. Going with the drag, we do find Marshall with a short gain around 3-4 yards. He's come out a few times of late and has gotten a few catches, but I don't say he's really made any splashy plays as we go back to him. Holds on to that one in tight coverage. So far, the accuracy looking pretty good to start. And we're definitely easing on into it. A lot of these are probably going to be short, quick. Occasionally try to pop one over the top of the defense just to open things up a little bit. As we try to do that here for Palmer, but a great play by the DB Maddox. Stroud tried to get it up the field, allow his receiver to catch and run, but needed it to be a little bit taller. As we go back to the running game here, Akers being patient and will get 5 as now Avila shaken up. We don't have too many other offensive linemen, especially decent overall ones, as he heads to the locker room. So that's going to bring in Huggins, an offensive lineman we signed a few weeks ago, as we barely get this one off, but we have some blockers out in front. Akers needs to make a move, but he almost did. He almost did to get that touchdown, but couldn't keep his feet. But the key first down there is we're inside the 15. And we do have a quick report from the locker room. Avila is out the remainder of this game. So we're going to have to hope Huggins can contain himself, as we do find Palmer. A really nicely placed ball there from Stroud behind the receiver, which made him open. And with that, we have a 1st and goal. Allen is to the right-hand side. He's going to be the main guy we need to make sure we're double teaming. So let's do that. Hobart and Huggins on him. As we'll go with the dive down the middle. Akers plowing on through. The double team works to perfection. As Akers gets us on the board and we finally have a little bit of some crowd reaction happening here. It's been all too quiet here in LA as the defense heads out facing another young quarterback. This one is Schmidt. He has not had a good season, more interceptions than touchdowns, and I would love to add to that tally as they just pick up 4 on play 1. Leave 2nd and 6 as they come out with a spread look, though handing it off, trying to find some space down the middle, breaking 1 tackle, though not going to get by Rice. Wraps up the knees, and you can't run very well if you can't move your legs. Will say I am very impressed, and probably the one thing I'm most impressed about with this season has been the vast improvement from Rice as that one overthrown. Conley wasn't close enough in coverage, but it ends up working out for him. I think that DB group is probably the first group that we really don't need to worry about when we get to our next offseason, which is a sign of improvement as they get our offense back out on the field. With about 2:15 on the clock in the first quarter, we start our second drive, and once again, Allen starts it off with a loss, this time just 1. But he'll definitely maintain to be the biggest threat for this offense, especially with us out one of our offensive linemen. As Stroud is going to end up stepping up with this one, he takes a late hit, but that time the ref throws the flag. I believe it was on Allen as well. And if it wasn't, it was still at least one of the big boys down the middle who was moving. As we have a 1st down in plus territory, he did the handoff down the middle. Zonovan Knight going to be the primary backup today as we do not have Gibson. He had I want to say, a shoulder injury in practice. So whenever Akers needs the break, we're going to see more from the young running back. Though we could have used some more blocking here, all the defensive linemen ended up in the backfield at the end of that play, making it 3rd and 17. This is a really good defensive line here for the Commanders. They haven't blown it up in this universe, as we're going to need a whole lot of yardage here. But where do we go? Across the middle, we maybe had Palmer, but it gets out late, and George Nix a bit shaken up, but we're going to have to punt at the 50. Which ends up being a pretty good way to end the quarter as well. As we begin the second, Commanders back out there on offense, as they'll stay spread here, but a sack comes in. It is Smith coming off the left-hand side of the defense. Recently made that change, and he finally picks up a sack from it. It also happens to be, I believe, the first sack for any of our defensive linemen in 3 weeks, I believe. It's been a while, and he almost got back there again. Instead, Smith trying to find some room to go. All the receivers, they block perfectly for him, and he picks up 21 yards and the 1st down. Should have been a sack. Instead, it's a massive gain for the Commanders. And that is why we are still looking at defensive linemen coming in this next draft class. And there are some good ones, as it's Conley coming off the cornerback blitz. Sent him way back, 2nd and 18. It's been a little bit since one of those actually hit home. Nice to see it. As they come out with a bunch to the right-hand side, McLaurin to the left. Going with a toss and an immediate stop. Smith is loving that left-hand side of the line this time. It's also very fitting because we just made him one of the focus players, and clearly he's liking that. As it's 3rd and 24. They're rolling and throwing away. Pressure in his face. Smith with another hit. Great drive for him, and we'll get the ball back. And I feel like I have a good plan to not start this drive off with an immediate tackle for a loss. We're going to go with some swing pass to the outside. DeGuara, it's still a tackle for a loss. Loss of 2. This time at least this wasn't on a run play. But at least you could say we didn't try to not get that. As we're going to come out with a similar look, actually same look, try to go on the deeper pass play. Got press on the outside on Palmer. Actually cover that pretty well. But across the middle they leave Nakua with some space. A little subtle juke as we're down inside the 30. Anytime we could get Nakua a couple catches early on, I feel like it should be a good game. Would love Jarrett one-on-one deep here, though. They do have the deep safety and off coverage. We'll see where they lie. And we're definitely not going to go that way, as that one should have been higher. Intended for Nakua, who was open. But Stockton undercut it with a really high vert and picks off the pass. And honestly, even with the angle of which that was thrown and the power behind it, I don't know if that was even going to make it to Nakua. Definitely needed a lot more under that. As the Commanders take over looking for something, they do get a little bit of a self-pick play almost from McLaurin. Came in, jammed the running back, got the spin to the outside and the catch, and nearly the first down. As it's 2nd and inches. So they stick with a lot of bunch looks, this time to the right-hand side. Trying to find a drag across, and they do go back across the middle and find their target. That one to Curtis Samuel with a 9-yard gain in the first down, just past the 40. As they change up the look here, we send the blitz. They swing it to that blitz, but not going to get back to the line. Brian Robinson shaken up after the hit, maybe came down on that wrist wrong. And at least appears not to be severe as he heads to the sideline instead of the locker room, leaving 2nd and 12. Smith sitting in the pocket, trying to find some space across the middle. He dumps it off and will maybe pick up the lost yardage. But they do not get very far, leaving 3rd and 10 as they have 2 to the left, 1 over to the right-hand side and the tight end. Will be another throw for Smith. Have a bunch of guys going to one side, but they go for the run across the middle. Breaks 1 tackle, met by Graham, but another first down scramble for their young quarterback. So we might need to install a little bit of some quarterback spy in this game just to ensure that he's not doing too much damage across the middle, as a nicely timed throw out to McLaurin. Got enough under that one for sure. Now with it being 2nd and 3, going to try to bring a little bit of some more pressure here because they've had all the time to throw, as that one once again beautifully thrown by Schmidt. They get it to Curtis Samuel and they're on the board. Conley definitely got beat there in man-on-man. Ties up this game with 1:29 seconds. As we still have 3 timeouts, plenty of time for us to try to find at least something here before half. As we're needing to roll out, we have a receiver who is open the opposite way, but definitely not enough time to get that one out. But if we're being honest, that was still our best first down we've had today. We didn't lose any yards as we try to go to the halfback screen, get it out once again with some blocks in front. Akers sprinting to the outside. Nice stiff arm there to ensure no big hit as he scampers out of bounds. And we'll continue with that same look, though just flipping the side of the field that we run it on. Coming across, gonna get it out to Marshall, who drops it. It was a good placed ball from Stroud. And you're definitely not doing yourselves any favor on this team if you're dropping passes. As we look to throw the ball here, first option not there. We roll, throw it out late. Palmer with the catch. Not much more after that, but a first down to the 39. And looked a bit tired after that one, so we'll send him to the sideline here, bringing out a 2 tight end set. As we're under 40 seconds left in this one. Stepping up in the pocket. Gonna have to roll. Try to get to the outside, though. Tripped from behind. We gain 2. Call a timeout there. 30 seconds left. And once again, we'll change the set here. We have DeGuara out there looking for a little bit of some play action. Again, I would love Jarrett deep here. But if they keep him in double coverage, this time it's actually just 1v1. Send it up for the big man who almost got a hand on it, but Curl, he won that competition. So that'll leave us with a 3rd and 8, 25 seconds left. With a little bit of some space going across the middle. Palmer not quite gonna get there. 4th and 8, this would be a long field goal. But we will send out Brown. Again, a better chance of us to hit the field goal than to either get a touchdown or convert the 4th. So we'll send Brown out with the boot. He's got the power, he's got the accuracy, and we've got a lead back once again. Make it 10-7 just before half. And the Commanders will end up just running out the clock, so we'll head into half after that field goal with a 10-7 lead. Offense is doing all right, definitely a little thing to clean up here and there, but even for the defense, but it still feels like it's a little bit of an improvement, a little bit more of some smooth play, at least compared to what we saw last week. Just need to stop the quarterback scrambles and we should be doing all right. As the Steelers currently tying it up now with the Seahawks. Seahawks 7-2 atop of our division. Steelers at 5-5 with Jared Goff at quarterback. Quite interesting. As we take a look at the second matchup, going to be Chiefs taking on the Chargers. It is a 14-3 game. The Chiefs up. Chargers 2-7. For some reason, they just can't win games. Not sure why. As the 49ers taking on the Saints, the last update, it is a big win for the 49ers as they move to 6-4. Saints drop to 5-7. And as we get our second half underway, it will be with the Commanders out on offense. as they need at least a field goal to tie this game. Starting with a pass is where they've gone often in this one. Finding their target, that's Noah Fant, about 9.5 yards. We'll say they definitely are doing a good job of spreading out the ball. They're not really solo targeting a certain player at all. As we send the blitz here, they swing it out. Another quick throw. This time gets them the first. And it ends up being back-to-back catches for Fant, as they're up to the 37, coming out with a heavy set. McLaurin, the only receiver out there. As they try to set up a run, cut back lane, will end up gaining a couple yards, but nothing dramatic. Outside of the one drive from Smith, really haven't seen much from the defensive line, as Rice just didn't quite notice that ball was thrown, it seems like. Need to do a better job of communicating. We're all taught in what, 3rd grade, 4th grade? Pass ball, Oski, get that pick, and get in front to block the way. As they're going to go with another pass, spinning backwards, they find McLaurin. We don't get that kind of accuracy spinning around like that, but CPU does. Just too much quick passing game, so let's try to work with a little bit more press as they try to find some space. A nice little juke there, almost brought him to the outside, as now Terry McLaurin down on the ground. Can't tell if he's holding at a shoulder or if it's a knee while he's running off the field, so don't imagine it's a knee. Probably shoulder or elbow. Either way, that's a big loss for this Commanders receiving core, though. The rest of them have gotten pretty involved as they essentially set up a pick play there for Fant, who gets the catch and a gain of 8. Schmidt is 12 of 14 in this one. He's been deadly accurate as he's going to tack on another one there across the middle, finding Curtis Samuel. And we've been rocking a lot of man coverage today, and they seemingly have been beating it. So let's switch it up a little bit, go with some zone. As we're inside the red zone here, they're down at the 16. Going to sit underneath some of these. We leave the running back wide open as they dump it off. He'll pick up about 4, spin off out of bounds. And now an empty look for him as they come out with 3 to the left, 2 to the right-hand side. Swinging it all the way to the outside, back to the running back who breaks the tackle. And for the first time today, Commanders take the lead. A really good start for them this second half. We're going to need our offense to answer back. And it'll begin from the 25. Gonna go with a little bit of some RPO, hand it off on the stretch to the outside. Akers bouncing and gets out of bounds. I don't think that hit was out of bounds. I think the last foot was still in. It's just a very aggressive way to end the play, but hey, that's football here as we have 2nd and 4. Gonna go back to the run, try to find some space down the middle. Akers only manages 1. So on 3rd and short, we'll spread wide here. Got 2 off to the left, 1 out to the right. Swing it all the way out there for Nakua, who holds on to that one barely. But he does manage the 3 yards and the first. Trying to work our advantages where we have them. As we have 2 out to the right-hand side, Jarrett beats the defender off the line, but the ball a few yards too far. Not able to catch back up to it. It's not often we get a ball downfield like that. We need to be able to capitalize. As we go with the halfback draw, Akers down the middle will pick up a few before meeting Davis Gaither, leaving 3rd and 8. And as we typically do, a little bit of some play action here. Try to draw down these linebackers, find a spot across the middle as that one gets popped up, but Nakua lays out for it. But so does the DB. Impact there was big, luckily no one injured. We got 4th and 8. 39-yard line, probably should punt. And we just need this defense to make a play here. We're giving up way too much quick passing game. Got to get in front of these, force some form of a bad throw. Even the rollouts have been pretty good. Broken way too many tackles as he breaks a second. Scott headed down the sideline up to the 40. Way too many yards after contact there. Should have been a gain of, at best, 1 or 2. As we hit the 4th quarter here, we're going to need a good defensive game to finish, and we're going to need the offense to score another touchdown, at least. And we could definitely use some play from the D-line here. Get in Schmidt's face. Don't make things easy, as they keep just blocking up every single one. Doesn't matter how many people we've been sending. Blocking has been perfect. Just the amount of times that I've seen one offensive lineman blocking 2 defensive players does not make sense to me. It's Madden though, as we have a 1st and 10, they swing it out wide. We'll find Curtis once again, though he's a bit shaken up. Looks like a shoulder injury, maybe even collarbone. So that leaves them without arguably their 2 best receiving targets. The primary guy outside of those 2 has been Noah Fant, and that's where they go here. Stretching down the sideline and inside the red zone. We need to be playing better press coverage. That's where I feel like we have the advantage, especially since we don't get great pass rush, as we almost get home there, but they find a guy, Dotson with the catch, 2nd and 4. So there may be some tweaking we have to make to some of the CPU sliders, as they're just phenomenal right now. Commanders moving the ball, 1st and goal. And that one was to Robinson, back from his earlier injury. As they come out with a tight look here, they try to find some space down the middle. It's all there, but apparently he didn't realize it. Should have been a walk-in touchdown. Instead, I think maybe a loss of 1. Well, they'll keep with the heavy set. Robinson still the lone back as they go right back to him down the middle, and he read it that time. Does walk in. Commanders extend their lead. We're going to need more than that touchdown. And we're going to need to get those touchdowns and any other points extremely quickly. We're down 11. Just under 5 minutes left in this one. We're going to need some near-perfect football, as there's Palmer wide open, headed down the sideline. 20, 15, 10, 5, tripping into the end zone. Couldn't quite score any quicker than that. 1-play touchdown, Joshua Palmer. And on top of that, CPU wants us to go for 2 here. Make it 21-18, a field goal game. I like the sound of that. As we're going to get this one to the outside if we had time to throw. But there was near negative time to throw there, as it was an immediate hit on the quarterback, and it will remain a 5-point game. Well, defense, we need you here, as they still do not have McLaurin or Curtis Samuel out there. They do have Robinson, who scored their last touchdown, but we need someone on this defense to make the play. As Smith, back there, does get the sack. We also had Luke Peak providing pressure, but it's a 2-sack game for Smith. No one on this D-line is safe moving in toward their off-season when we do get there. So we need to see them make the plays. As they go with some play action, Smith getting back there, Lawson also there, but he loses track of Smith, and he's going to have another massive rushing 1st down. All the way up to the 35. Contain has been pitiful, as we're definitely going to have to check out of that blitz. Would not be good for us, as they have some options downfield, but they check it down instead. Robinson going to break the tackles. Why can this team not tackle? The ratings are good. They just won't do it. And we have about 2.5 minutes to get the stop, get the ball back, and get another touchdown. As they're letting clock roll for sure. A quick throw across the middle is going to be open, breaking another tackle. Brownlee off to the races, not going to get by Rice. But they're inside the 10. And we have just 2 minutes left to make the plays needed. And they're in scoring range here. As they hand it off, Robinson going to lose a couple yards, or apparently just a yard. Timeout called there. This defense has to act quick on these plays. We can't allow any more touchdowns at least. We could give up a field goal, but make it an 8-point ball game. And we would need the touchdown and obviously the 2-point. But what would be perfect would be not needing to get that 2-point and getting a turnover here. That would be ideal, as they hand it off and, well, they don't get a touchdown. But it should be a field goal unit headed out here after we call our last timeout. St. Just Curse over on this left-hand side. Feel like blocking a kick? As the snap is back, definitely not going to get back there. It will be an 8-point ball game. And we will need that touchdown and 2-point just to send it to OT. This is very reminiscent of a few weeks ago when facing the Buccaneers. A chance to tie the game late. We got the touchdown, but we missed the 2-point conversion. Can we make up for that here? As we need someone to come across, we're going to just launch this one deep for Palmer, and it's about 5 yards too far out in front. The deep ball typically not there with this team. We don't necessarily have a great down the field route runner, but if we could find something, that would be great, like maybe another block there on the screen. We constantly have guys out there, they're just not getting the blocks. As we have 3rd and 8, they bring down the safety. I'm going to want a quick swing out here from Akers, a little bit of a safety for us, though they do drop back out into coverage. Rolling, trying to find somewhere to go. We dump this one off for Akers, who will pick up some yards, get out of bounds, 4th and 4. And it's a down we must convert. Still way back here, just past the 30. Hard count. Smith definitely moved there, but they don't throw the flag. Going to Tommy Tremble. Gonna be a catch. First down and not out of bounds. He takes the hit. Spun him back inside, and we got to get back to the line quickly here. Under a minute left. We need that touchdown. We need the 2-point. As we get the halfback screen off, this time we do have some blockers out there. Akers just going to go for the first down. We'll have to get back to the line again rather quickly. Under 30 seconds, they walk down a safety to the right-hand side. Having to make these adjustments is taking time off the clock that we don't necessarily have, but we have Palmer with a very acrobatic play. But this is it. Last play here has to be in the end zone, and we do get the ball off just in time. Who's it gonna be but Nakua? Overthrown. He was wide open. Should have been an easy score if that ball was anywhere in his vicinity. But once again, we see a quarterback come in who did not have a good season, or isn't, I don't know what his overall is, but he at least did not have a good season coming into this one. And he looked like Tom Brady out there. We struggled a little bit on defense, getting stops, running Tom Brady, that is. We struggled to get stops against this Blake Schmidt. In his second season, he had a 138.4 quarterback rating. I feel like that's a perfect score, if I'm not mistaken. He had 23 of 25 throws completed for 271 yards. He had a 92% completion percentage. He had 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, averaged about 11 yards per throw with as long of a 46. On top of that, dude also ran 3 times for 66 yards, 22 yards in average, and pretty much a first down every time he scrambled. So we'll definitely need to take a look at what his ratings are, because I feel like we might need to adjust some of the CPU sliders here. And these are the ratings of Blake Schmidt. He's a 79 with some coaching boost, superstar player. Now he has tremendous throw power, but the deep accuracy is not that great. Medium accuracy is barely okay, and short, is solid, but nothing spectacular. His awareness is a 74, though he does have 90 break sack, which explains why we were having a hard time sacking the dude. He also has 89 throw on the run, so some of that makes sense. Throw under pressure, though, he was throwing dimes while we were all over him, and that doesn't quite make sense there. Play action 74. I don't really think they ran a whole lot of play action. At least it doesn't quite come into my mind. Speed 83. He looked a whole lot faster than having 83 speed out there, though he does have 89 acceleration. I just don't think that he should have been playing as good as he was, with his ability here being passers. With this ability, improve the catching prowess of all tight ends who are open on pass play. Now, Fant had a solid game, surely, but it wasn't really Fant that was making the surprising catches. It was the receivers who were. So I don't quite feel like the play that we saw out there matches the level of where Blake Schmidt is in comparison to our quarterback. Now, we were missing a lot of throws. Not a lot, but at least comparative to some other games. But we were still missing some throws. Stroud is a star dev, so not a superstar. But the rating-wise, we have way better accuracies, yet didn't see anywhere close to 92% completion. With us having better awareness, he had better throw on the run. We have much better play action, and play action for the most part was fine. Throw under pressure, though, we have basically the same rating there. And pretty much anytime there was someone within about 3 yards of us, we could not throw a semi-accurate ball at all. So I don't think the ratings are fair across the board for CPU and user. So I feel like we do need to make a couple tweaks to the quarterback accuracies. Let me know your opinion. I'll wait, hear what you guys have to say, and then we might make an adjustment at the start of next episode. Speaking of next episode, that will be against the 6-5 Green Bay Packers. Now, for them, they are not doing too hot offensively outside of running the ball. We typically do sometimes good at stopping the run, and sometimes we're awful at it. So we're going to see what defensive line shows up. As for their defense, they're very mediocre, about average across the board. At quarterback, they also have a young guy, a rookie in Kenny McClendon. Now, just want to get a preview of him. He is a normal dev, and he has good deep accuracy, a lot of throw power, solid, medium, and not good short. So if he's just dinking and diming the whole way down the field, throwing on the run perfectly, and even under pressure and everything, then we know something is definitely broken. So that we'll remember as we move on to the next episode. Now, I'm not looking to make dramatic changes to the sliders, just like 1 or 2 at a time to try to find that middle ground where things are working correctly. We also will need to talk, and we'll talk about at the beginning of next episode, about the defensive line for us and the blocking of other offensive lines, the CPU offensive line, because that is looking a little bit off. Again, we'll talk about that at the beginning of next episode, so make sure you stick around, hit that bell icon on the bottom right, or scroll down, hit the subscription button, and definitely make sure you tap that bell icon so you're notified of when these videos go live. This series every single Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, with the state-only challenge, currently the Central Plains, as we'll have the possible last episode on Saturday if Season 5 does not make it to the playoffs. So make sure you stay tuned for that one, because it could possibly be the end, in which case you guys will need to vote on the next state-only challenge. So a whole lot coming, plus the shorts highlighting everything. Hope you guys are enjoying those, and until next time, we'll see you later. Bye.